Yes, sir. Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 293 on this lovely Saturday morning, August 5th, 2023. As always, I'm your host, D-Rock, and joining me, as always, my partner in crime, our NBA guru, Elvis Acosta. E, how you doing today, kid?
I'm doing great, deal. Lovely Saturday. Boy got a fresh cut, so I'm feeling good,
Uh-huh.
living better. Excited for
Yep.
that fight later, I know it might not be the most crowd pleasing fight, but for me, I want to see the fight.
Yeah, besides that Crawford Spence fight, I think this is probably one of the biggest fights of not just the summer, of the year, I would say. But yeah, loaded show for you guys today. A lot to talk about. Got a lot of stuff to break down that happened over the week. We got some MLB plays, a great interview with Danielle Alvari of VSIN. She previews the Raiders and the Chargers with us, and we continue our two-a-days and finish off the AFC West. And Elvis, I told you I'll have my AFC prediction. I got it for you later on in the show. But Elvis, we'll start in the Bay Area with the 49ers. Nick Bosa holding out, and they were his $50,000 fine per day is rescindable by the team because he is still on his rookie contract. Zach Martin is also holding out. We talked about Chris Jones, I think, last week about holding out, but those people are not on the rookie contract. So they're getting fined $50,000 per day. So no rush for Bosa. I do expect him to get a deal done, but is it a little concerning that we're a little less than a month away and he's kind of holding out right now for a contract?
Nah, Dill. Just at the end of the day, you gotta play hardball. You gotta get what you deserve, what you're worth. So Bosa is one of the premier defensive linemen in the league, and you tell him you can't get a deal done with arguably the best D line in the league. It's just, I don't know, Dill. Maybe he's asking to break the bank. Maybe he's asking $35 million a year. Who knows? But 49ers, you got to get this deal done. I understand you got Super Bowl aspirations, but without Bosa in the front, don't get me wrong, you still a contender, but that right side ain't gonna be a little lackluster, So I just feel like with Nick Bosa, it completes the defense. Don't get me wrong, they're still gonna have a great defense, simply be a top 10 defense with or without him. But with him, it makes you a Super Bowl contending defense.
100%. I think we might see the richest contract for a defensive lineman. I think he's worth it. Injury bug happens a little bit, but when he's on the field, I think both of us can't deny he might, if not the best, he's a top 3 defensive lineman in the league right now.
It's him and TJ Watt and
that's
Myles
it.
Garrett. And Myles
that's
Garrett
it.
all coming off the edge,
So you can't block any of those guys one-on-one. You need help at all times. You need a little bump from the tight end once in a while. But yeah, no rush for Bosa. I do expect him to be in a 49ers uniform this year. But, rightfully so. I think he's outperformed his rookie contract, let's just say. So
he's a top. I don't even think I've seen him in the NFL 100 list yet.
I think he's a top 15 player in the league.
Yeah, he might be top 10. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him yet, so he might be a top 10 player. You telling me you can't get a contract done with a top 10 player?
Yeah, that's concerning.
My man, not to get too ahead of now. Just continue.
Okay. No, you're good. I love the energy, but and I don't think there's any rush. But it is cool that since he is on, I didn't know this, that if you are still on your rookie contract and you do hold out, the $50,000 is rescindable. So the team isn't going to fine Nick Bosa, which means I think they are on good terms and they just want to get a deal done. So hopefully that gets done. We'll stay on the defensive end. Cameron Jordan, the Saints' all-time leading franchise sack leader. He reached a 2-year, $27.5 million guaranteed contract extension. That ties him in New Orleans till the 2025 season. The $27.5 million is all guaranteed. It's the largest contract on average and guarantees of any defensive player in the NFL history at the age of 34. So, this marks the 4th multi-year contract between Jordan and the Saints. It's going to take him into his 15th season with the franchise. He's played in 16 games in every season in his 12-year career. He has 115 career sacks, second amongst active players. I think the first is Von Miller. He has 123 and a half, but He's played all of his games in a Saints uniform, fourth most of in franchise history. Number one is Drew Brees, 228. After this season, he's going to be number two. And after this career, the next stop for him, right? Canton, Ohio. So, I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about Cameron Jordan. He's an amazing player on and off the field, but I'm happy he got a a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, Dale. Shout out to Cam Jordan. That was a great contract for him and the Saints. Honestly, great fully guaranteed contract for him. And then he didn't really break the bank at what just
No.
$14 million a season.
Yeah.
So shout out him getting a deal done. Shout out to Saints for fully guaranteeing the contract, basically showing love and respect to a player who's been first class for the
Yeah.
organization for the past decade plus. So good for the Saints. I love things like that when
Mm-hmm.
it's beneficial for both sides. The Saints still get a top 25-ish player even at 34 years old. Cam Jordan's still one of the best D linemen
Yeah.
in the game. And then he gets paid, he gets compensated well, he gets fully guaranteed. And like you said, though, he's been playing 15 games almost every season of his career. So he's gonna play. But just in case, you know what, Jordan, you're not able to play all 16, we're
There you
fully
go.
guaranteeing it anyway. Because
Yeah.
you've done that part. So I just love to see owners and players just make good deals. And that's what it is. Like, I'm tired of seeing what's going on with these running backs. Same thing was happening with Bosa. He wants a deal done. And somehow they're not able to get these contracts done. We see it in the NBA and the MLB. Monstrous contracts get done seems like every other week, but in the NFL, it just seems like if it ain't a quarterback, it's always a tug. Even with the wide receivers last season, when Debo was trying to get his contract deal, that seemed like a kind of struggle. He was unhappy. Then he
Yeah.
was finally get a deal done. So I don't know why is it such a pain for these players, these star players. It's not like they're just average. These all pro players to get what they deserve in the NFL. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but I'm happy Saints are a well-run organization. They took care of their guy. Like you mentioned, he doesn't miss time at all. He's one of the greatest defensive ends in the game, not just this year, but throughout his 12-year career. He's going to break the sack record for the Saints franchise. He's going to be one of the top 5 Saints of all time. So
Yeah.
I'm just very happy for Cam Jordan. And like you said, it's not like a crazy deal. He just wants fully guaranteed. And I don't think 27 and a half is asking too much for what he's done for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. I'm happy for Cam Jordan. We'll stay with the New Orleans Saints. Pro Bowl running back Alvin Kamara has been suspended. We've been waiting for it. He's only suspended 3 games. He violated the NFL personal conduct policy. I think the suspension came back when he was arrested during the Pro Bowl last year. I think he got into that scuffle. So suspended for 3 games. The games he will miss: week 1 against the Titans. That's a tough one. Week 2 at the Panthers. I think they'll be fine there. And then week 3 at the Packers. He'll be eligible to return week 4 against the Buccaneers. But the Saints, they're expected to rely on Jamal Williams. They signed him in the offseason, 3 years, $12 million contract. So they did draft Kendre Miller as well in the 3rd round. So we'll see how that does. But are you surprised he got 3 games?
To be honest, I'm kind of shocked by it. We all saw the video, what went on, and usually the NFL comes a little harsher, So shout out to Alvin Kamara and his team for only getting 3 games. I'm kind of surprised it was only 3 games. I'm not saying he deserved more. All I'm saying is the NFL usually comes down hard on things like this. So the fact that he wasn't able to get 6, 5, 6, maybe even 8 games. We've done seen some ridiculous numbers in recent years.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was just a little not to say like it's a good thing, but all I'm saying is nobody was hurt. It was just a brawl after a couple people had too many drinks. It happens. I understand it's not, it's not what the NFL wants you to represent them in or the Saints, but luckily nobody got hurt. Everybody's okay, and the fact that he got 3 games, he should be thankful, Dill.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of NFL players not just get suspended for longer, but lose their careers over such things. So.
Literally, Flash Gordon just smoking weed. He got a full year. They literally threw him out of the league for smoking something. And
well, he also like
It
Still
was
like
his
3.
fifth time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree on that. He is a repeating offender. But you got people who do domestic violence and put their hands on women, and they're only getting 3 games. So I guess for a little scuffle, like you said, not to downplay it at all, because,
Yeah.
it is
He
you're representing
if
an organization.
if you saw the video, Alvin Kamara probably threw like a punch and a kick. His
Yeah.
boys really did the damage,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
he should have better control over his boys.
Mm-hmm.
But at
It's
the end
the
of the day,
saying, Elvis, you're guilty by association.
association exactly.
It's
So
unfortunate, especially when all eyes are on Alvin Kamara. They don't know your
yeah,
boys.
and honestly, if he doesn't throw that one punch and kick, he may only get a game or 2. But he
Yeah.
did. He did throw a punch. He did do something. So
Yeah.
can't just let him off.
He tagged him. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
he was like, you know what? Let me get some of this.
But he did come out and apologize for the organization, for his family. So, he is taking responsibility, which you like to see. He's growing up in front of our eyes, man. So, can't really put a lot of blame on him, but, he is taking responsibility. So 3 games, I think he will be fine. He could still practice in training camp. He could still play in preseason, but weeks 1 through 3, he is suspended for. Let's go on to the NFC East. The Cowboys safety Malik Hooker. He signed a 3-year contract extension up to $24 million, $8 million in the signing bonus. That's going to be paid in the next 10 to 15 days. So $8 million is going right into his bank account. And then $16.5 million of the 24 is fully guaranteed. That ties him to 2026. Do you like that move for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
No, I was just going to say they already paid Trayvon Diggs. Now they got Malik Hooker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like it just because they're solidifying their backfield. Well, they're secondary for the rest of for the next few years. You got Trayvon Diggs, who I think is one of the best corners in the league. He gambles a little bit too much for my liking, but he'll grow from that, especially with Stephon Gilmore there. So you got Stephon, you got Trayvon Diggs, and then you add in Hooker, who's pretty good. He has potential to be really good. So I like what they're doing in the secondary, tying everybody together for a few years to get that camaraderie together. So Jerry Jones has a plan. That secondary is going to be together for the next 2-3 seasons. Still, they might turn into one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Not this season, but maybe a year or 2 down the road. Still, so I like the move. Got to keep the guys together. And I'm gonna be honest, Hooker he's above average. He's a pretty good safety.
Yeah, and he really brings the wood, too. He could definitely hit you. Yeah, they do gamble a little, their secondary. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But I do like Malik Hooker. I think it solidifies their secondary, and they're all keeping them together. They're all young, which you like to see. Colts, like we all know, the confrontation with Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor, they go out and they sign veteran running back Kenyon Drake, just in case in case Jonathan Taylor holds out more. You like Kenyon Drake for them?
Still, at the end of the day, it don't matter who you go out there in open market.
You can't replace him.
You can't replace the production that Jonathan Taylor is going to give.
Yeah.
Maybe Dalvin Cook, but let's be realistic. Dalvin Cook is not going to give you the exact numbers Jonathan Taylor will give you. So do I like it? Yeah, I like it for Kenyon Drake. He's on a team. He gets a contract. Money being made around here. So I love it for him. But for Jonathan Taylor, it's bad language. It's bad language saying, oh, so you're just gonna pick a guy up from the street instead of you're gonna give this guy, $1 or $2 million, no problem. But I can't get mine. Well, after what I've done for you for the last 3 seasons, like I don't know, Dill. It's gonna leave a sour taste in Jonathan Taylor's mouth, but it's good for Kendrick Drake.
And I would also say on the business side, Indianapolis can't just sit there and not have a running back. They need to go and do something.
No, yeah, exactly. So I understand it, business side, but at the end of the day, if you're looking, if you're the front office and you're Jim Irsay, but maybe not Jim Irsay, but if you're the front office and you're like, we need Jonathan Taylor, need Jonathan Taylor moving forward, you gotta work out a deal,
And I agree. I think, especially to the young development of Anthony Richardson, they need a good running back. I don't think they could have the inconsistency of all these different old veteran running backs. You need a guy like Jonathan Taylor who could take some of the pressure off of Anthony Richardson, because then he's going to struggle. Look what happened to Zach Wilson. He doesn't have a good running game. He's just going to force things, and you don't want that, because then the confidence goes down with the young quarterback. But I agree. And then lastly, last NFL news, we'll end with your Patriots. 4-time Pro Bowler Matthew Judon and the Patriots reach an agreement on a contract adjustment That will take his original $2 million guaranteed of this year to $14 million guaranteed this year. It improves the original 2021 deal. It will allow him to make up to $18 million this year. So no new years were added. He's just getting a little bump in pay for this year, which, I mean, deservingly so. I think he's arguably the best player on the defensive side for you guys.
Yeah, some people might make the case he's one of the best defensive players in the division. You know, not against your Jets or anything like that, Miami, but when it comes to production for the last 2 seasons, there's not too many players out there that's done more than Matthew
Yeah.
Judon. So I think the Patriots got it right. He deserved to get that money. Shit, I could still make the case he's underpaid, Dill. You know,
Yeah.
he's locked in right now for at least 12 sacks. You know, like that's he could lock that in. He's gonna get anywhere from 10 plus. He's done it for the last 2-3 seasons, and I guarantee he's gonna continue that. So I like the deal. I'm kind of glad that Bill Belichick was like, you know what, let's pay him instead of just letting it rock, and let's pay our players, let's take care of him. So when he opens up that when he's in free agency and he's like, you know what, the Patriots took care of me. Let me just, give him a little friendly deal and get a long-term deal done.
Yeah, I agree. I love Matthew Judon. What he did in Baltimore, what he's done in the few years in New England. I mean, I hate to agree, but I do think he's one of the best defensive players in not just the division, in the league. I mean, the guy's healthy and he always is productive. So it's good to get him a nice little bump from $2 million guaranteed, which is definitely undervalued. That man definitely deserves more. So good on him. Good on the Patriots to get him paid. He could make up to $18 million this year. And then lastly, we will end in the NBA. We'll start here. Lakers star Anthony Davis. This came kind of out of nowhere. I feel like he agreed on a 3-year, $186 million max extension. This ties him to the Lakers to 2028 for a total of $270 million plus. Davis lands the richest annual extension in NBA history at $62 million per year. One word, Jesus. Wow. What a fucking contract. Rich Paul gets it done for his boy, and I think he deserves it. I think the year that he had Anthony Davis, getting them to the Western Conference Finals, and it gives kind of LeBron some security, be like, okay, they're taking care of him. And LeBron always said, after me, this is AD's team, and I think this is kind of the first stepping stone to solidify that this isn't LeBron's team. This is Anthony Davis's team.
Yo, I agree with you. I think LeBron tried to pass the torch to Anthony Davis the year after the bubble,
Yeah.
and then injuries and whatnot couldn't really, he couldn't really take the torch. I think this upcoming season we saw Anthony Davis for that. I think it was a 10 or 15 game stretch. He averaged 35 points, 12 rebounds, and six assists a game, 5 assists a game, something like that. Anthony Davis in stretches is the best player in NBA. In stretches, people. I'm not gonna say he's the best. He's the best player because he's not. But for a week to about a month in the season, he will be the best player in the NBA just for a period of time, Bill. And that period of time between I think November to January, it was like a excuse me, it was like a 10-15 game span when Anthony Davis dominated. And then come playoff time when the Lakers needed Anthony Davis the most, he was dominating.
Yeah.
He averaged over 3 blocks a game in the playoffs. He led the whole playoffs in rebounds. And we saw the numbers the Joker was doing. He had more rebounds than Jokic. So Anthony Davis, till he ran into the Joker, dominated the NBA playoffs. He dominated the Grizzlies, and then he dominated Golden State. Draymond was just too little for him. So I think he deserved to get the deal done. I'm glad now, moving forward, can he stay healthy and lead the Lakers and take the torch from LeBron? Because I'm pretty sure LeBron has no problem handing him the torch. It's because Davis, could he play 70 games? Could he lead this team to a top 4 seed and then lead them to a championship?
And I think that's what LeBron saw when trying to recruit him and bring him to LA. He knew the potential. He saw it in him. But the main question is what you alluded to. It's the health injury. When he's on the floor, he's not a top 10 player. He's a top 5 player. He's too dominant. They're too little. And his athletic ability is just far in between anyone else in the
Yeah.
NBA. And when the big games, like you mentioned, that they needed him in the NBA playoffs, he came and delivered. I know they got swept by the Nuggets, but it wasn't just LeBron. It wasn't just Anthony Davis. They needed more help. They were
Hmm.
just loaded, the Denver Nuggets. But yeah, I think he definitely deserved it. I just really hope for his sake and for the Lakers he could stay healthy, because when he is, they're going to be right in the thick of things with him and LeBron. So I have no problem with the contract. And the people are saying, "Oh, it's too much for a guy that gets injured." Yeah, but look what Boston gave a guy that could dribble with one hand. So what are we talking about? The money isn't really a factor in my opinion. I think it's just going to continue to go up. Wait till Luka gets paid. Like, just imagine what Luka's gonna get paid. You know what I mean? This money is just gonna continue to go up with the TV deals and everything. So I have no problem with the money at all. I think he deserves it. To be honest, it might be a little low.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Dude, I made this point like a year or two ago. I don't know if you remember, but like when Giannis won the NBA title, I was like, Giannis is the best player in the world,
Yeah, I
you
remember.
know. But you're not gonna tell me Anthony Davis doesn't have more talent than
Hmm.
Giannis. So in my opinion, Anthony Davis is the much better talented player. He's better. He's a better basketball player. But Anthony Davis doesn't have the same motor Giannis Antetokounmpo has, and that's the
Yeah.
difference. He can't stay healthy like Giannis, and he doesn't have the same motor. Because I guarantee, if Anthony Davis had the same aggression, whatever's inside Giannis, if that was inside Anthony Davis would go out there average 35, 40 points a game.
He'd be the best player in the
Think
league.
about it. Giannis averages 30 points a game with a double digits rebounds. He can't shoot free throws, can't shoot the three, can't shoot from the perimeter. Anthony Davis can shoot from the perimeter, three, and free throw line. And we already know what he can do in the paint, though.
Yeah.
He's better than Giannis, but Giannis just has a much higher mortar, so that he just plays harder than Anthony Davis, which makes him better. But talent wise, you're not gonna tell me Anthony Davis is not one of the greatest talents the NBA ever has seen.
Yeah, he just needs to get his weight up, because when he just looks a little fragile to me, Anthony Davis. Like, when he's coming down, that's a lot of weight coming down on those legs. So I just think he needs to beef up a little. But when he stays healthy, man, he's a force to be reckoned with. So I'm happy he got his contract. Kind of came out of nowhere because, the NBA's in their offseason, so we really didn't get too much news. But Anthony Davis said, "You know what? I'll take the spotlight for you guys. This is how you get a deal done." But shout out his agent Rich Paul. I mean, Clutch Sports, one of the best in the business as well. So, Elvis, let's get to our plays. We will start on the diamond. I've been dialing down my plays recently. I've been only doing 3, 4. I've kind of dialed it back in the MLB, kind of get ready for college football and the NFL. So I've only had like 3 to 4 plays per night, and it's actually been going better. I went 3-1 last night. I have 3 plays tonight. How about you? How many plays do you have?
I have three as well, Bill. Three as well. Couple nice ones. Couple.
All right.
You know.
You started us off, and we'll just go from there. What's your first bet?
All my games are early, Dill. So let's start it off. 105 start. We're heading to the Bronx,
Hmm.
New York. We're going Houston Astros taking on the New York Yankees, Dill. Houston Astros sitting a minus 142 favorite. Over under at 8.5. Dill. Verlander making his return
Mm-hmm.
in the Astros uni. He didn't even have to leave the state, Dill, when he got traded. He was like, "Oh, y'all coming to the Bronx? I'ma just check it. I'ma just stay in this hotel, and when y'all land, I'ma just go to y'all room."
Yep.
So, with that being said, Dill, this guy been chilling for the past 3 days, somewhere in New York, chilling, not thinking, relaxing. With that being said, give me Houston Astros money line at minus 140, Dill. It's at minus 142 right now, but I think Justin Verlander is gonna wake up in that jersey like, "Oh, I'm a playoff team. Oh, we have a chance to win the World Series. I'm gonna stop playing and deal." And that's what you're gonna see, Dill. We're gonna see Justin Verlander like it's 2020 in that Houston Astros jersey, Dill. Give me the Astros money line.
Yeah, class act from Justin Verlander. After he got traded, he said nothing but good things about the Mets organization. So appreciate that. I mean, that's literally the only nice thing you can say about them right now. But yeah, I agree. The Yankees are a total fade right now. They're not doing well offensively. Aaron Judge has been in and out of the lineup since returning. Justin Verlander, he's going to dominate. And people were like, oh, he wasn't good with the Mets. Are you kidding me? He wasn't good with the Mets. His ERA in the month of July was 1.68. He only allowed 7 runs in the month of July. Like, he shut out the Yankees back in, I think, 2-3 weeks ago on the 25th at the Bronx when the Mets played him and the Mets won that game. He went 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits, no runs, struck out 7. He's going to deal. I got him a little early at minus 130. I agree. I think they're a total fade right now. The Yankees, they're hurting. The troubles are brewing in New York sports.
Last place team, man.
Yep. That's my first play. What else you got?
Moving on, Dill. Let's go to Detroit, Dill. I think this is one of my favorite plays of the day. You got to just fade the Detroit Tigers, especially at home. Dill, give me the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line. My plus 114 on the money line. I forgot to say the stats. Rays sitting at minus 148 on the money line. Over under at 8. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line at plus 114. Deal. Detroit is just a complete fade. Tampa, they're still ripping. They're one of the best team in the majors, and I just gotta roll with them.
Yeah, I agree. I got him a little early on the money line. I got him at minus 142. They're at minus 148. I still like it. I think it's put a little extra money on it. It's like one of those unit and a half plays. Or if you want to take them on the run line, I don't mind that at all either. Tigers, they're just a bad team right now. I like Tarek Skubal. He hasn't been that bad since returning, but just 3-7 in their last 10. They can't buy a win right now. And we saw yesterday what they did to the Tigers. They won 8-0. When this team gets going, the Rays are one of the best teams in the league. So yeah, I like the run line playing to get plus money. I just was safe. I took them on the money line. So we're lockstep right now. What's your third play?
Third play, Dill. Let's go to Chicago. The Atlanta Braves taking on Chicago Cubs. Over under sitting at 10. Atlanta minus 155 on the money line, Dill. This is another one, Dill. I'm rolling with the run lines, Dill. Give me the Atlanta Braves on the run line, minus 1.5 at plus 100 versus Chicago, Dill. This is another one, Dill. This is arguably one of the best teams in the league facing a weak opponent, Dill. And you got to just take it, Dill. 70-win club. Can't say nothing more about the Atlanta Braves. Give me the Braves on the run line, plus 100, people.
The Cubs have been rolling, though, out of the All-Star break. They have been playing very good baseball. But, yeah, we're in the same game again. I'm going to take the under. I got it a little early. I got it at 10.5. I took the under. 10.5, it just seems very, very large for me. Even a 10 seems too big to me. You got wind blowing in at Wrigley. You always want to check the wind directions at Wrigley because right there on Lake Michigan, it could affect the game. So I think Bryce Elder could hold them. I do like the Braves. I don't know if I would lay the 155 though, but yeah, I just think 10.5 runs is a little too much. We saw it end 8-0 yesterday, so I think we could see another low scoring game. So under 10.5 or under 10, whatever you could get. So shop around. But yeah, I'm surprised. 3 of the same games you and I had, but yeah, that's gonna be it. Elvis, any other games for you on the diamond?
Nah, Dill, those are my most confident plays. Like, I will give a few leans out, Dill, but after my performance last Saturday, I'm staying away from that, people.
I mean, you just got to continue to fade the Mets right now against Baltimore, one of the best teams in the league. Just continue to fade them.
And I'll be honest, it pains me to say this. The fact that Toronto are plus money at Boston, I understand. We're better at home, but Dill, our last 5 games, I don't know if you witnessed, we've been bad. So I'm not gonna say bet against my Red Sox. All I'm saying is it might be a smart play to take the Blue Jays plus 101.
I guess I understand it just because Jose Barrios hasn't been the best on the road. But yeah, you're right. Boston, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. It's just, after that hot start in July, after the All-Star break, they've kind of cooled off a little bit as well. Continue to fade the White Sox there. Excuse me, they're a complete fade, 2-8 in their last 10 games. Guardians, I don't mind them, minus 145, minus 146 as well. Dodgers getting plus money as well. Dodgers, I know it's Ryan Yarbrough going for them against Blake Snell, but they definitely have the pitching advantage with the Padres. But the Dodgers have won 7 straight against the Padres. So it's just one of those incidents where they just own them, kind of like Houston owns the Yankees right now. So it's hard to go away from that plus money with the Dodgers as well. That was going to be one of my dogs, but I just couldn't get to the window with there. So yeah, a few leans right there. But Elvis, before we get to our interview with Danielle Alvari, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Nathan Diaz knock out Jake Paul. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, here is our interview with Danielle Alvari. All right, great interview with Danielle Alvari. It's so good to her to join and get back on the show. We haven't had her, I think, since like the first year we came on. She's over there in Las Vegas working at VSIN, does great work over there. And yeah, I think we kind of had the same opinion. We're very low on the Raiders and we're kind of high. I think expectations are high for the Raiders, especially getting Kellen Moore calling the plays and maybe unlocking some more potential with Justin Herbert and that offense. But let's start. This is our last 2 teams for the AFC. We got the Chargers and the Raiders. We'll start with the Chargers just because there's a little more to talk about there than the Raiders. But yeah, last year, Chargers finished 10-7. They got to the playoffs. They were knocked out in the wild card round. They blew that lead. Chargers, they were underdogs. They were 1-5 as underdogs, 9-2 as favorites. Chargers were 7-5 in one possession games, 5-3 in games decided by 3 points or lower. So going into this season for the Super Bowl, 21-1 to win the Super Bowl, to win the AFC, 11-1. They have the second best odds in the AFC West at plus 300. Their win total is at 9.5, a little juicy to minus 128 for obvious reasons. For them to make the playoffs, yes, minus 115, no, minus 105. So out of those 5 markets that you could kind of touch on, what's your favorite play for the Chargers this upcoming season?
Still, my favorite play for the Chargers this season, it got to be make the playoffs still. I'm more confident to make the playoffs than to go over the win total. Let's just start there. They have a tough schedule. Don't get me wrong, I do like them going over as well, but I'm just more confident in them to make the playoffs just because the division, we know what to expect from the Raiders. We know what the Broncos are looking like. It's just how could the AFC North, is there going to be 3 teams coming off the AFC North? Is the AFC East going to have 2 teams? I think Chargers are going to be one of those teams still. So at minus 115, I think it's great value. My favorite play for the Chargers is to make the playoffs at minus 115.
Yeah, I like them to make the playoffs as well. I do like I like the over. You mentioned their schedule. I know it is on the tougher side. They do have a bye early in the week around week 5. But this team went 10-7 with everything we talked to Danielle about, with all the injuries, Justin Herbert, their offensive line, the penalties that they had, just all the humps that they hurdled, and still won 10 games last season. Now they bring in a better offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. I think that's going to help mightily, especially in the red zone where they struggled at. They drafted the rookie Quinton Johnson from TCU. I think that's going to add a little more depth to that wide receiver room with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They only have 1 back-to-back road games, and it's early in the season, weeks 2 and 3. So I got to go over. I got it a little early at minus 115. We've seen money come in on them at minus 128 right now. I still like it. I also like to win them to make the playoffs, but I don't think they could win the AFC West. I think the Chiefs are going to win that. AFC 11-1. Like all these future props and market, I think you could get a better number in season, because if they slip a game or two that they're supposed to win, the numbers are going to get better. And if you think they're going to go on a run, then I think you could get a better number later in the season. So I would wait on those. But yeah, I agree. I like the win total over, and I think they make the playoffs. As for player props, a lot to get into. Justin Herbert, you got Austin Eckler, you got 3 wide receivers, like I mentioned, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnson. What's your favorite player prop this season? A lot to choose from.
Yeah, a lot to choose from, Dill. The addition of Kellen Moore, I think, is gonna bring wonders to this offense. So with that being said, Dill, give me Justin Herbert over passing. I expect him to have probably his best season of his career this upcoming season with Kellen Moore. And it kind of depends if it's going to be a healthy Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. If those two are going to be healthy, I think Justin Herbert's going to have a stellar season, Dill. So with that being said, give me Justin Herbert over passing yards, 4,300 and a half. And then, Dill, this one you might going to like. Give me Justin Herbert to lead the league in passing yards at plus 600, Dill. I have a feeling with Kellen Moore, they're going to drop back and pass at least 30, 35, 40 times a game. Kellen Moore loves to throw the ball, and I expect Justin Herbert to sling that big arm of his with those star wide receivers, Keenan Allen, the rookie, Mike Williams, even also Eckler caught shitting out the backfield, Deal. So I expect to see the best version of Justin Herbert this upcoming season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, how can you go anything other than that? I mean, he threw for 4,700 last season. With a mediocre play caller. No disrespect to Lombardi, but Kellen Moore is, Danielle alluded to it. He's very aggressive. Look at the numbers he put up with Dak.
Real quick, people. Kellen Moore, for the last 4 seasons, his offense was the number 1 points per game at 29.3. That led the NFL over the last 4 seasons. Second place was Patty Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah. And the number sitting at 4,400. He threw for 5,000 yards in 2021. Just think about that. I mean, in his rookie season, the one that he didn't go over, he only went under it by less than 100 yards. He threw for 4,336. So,
and remember, people, Tyrod Taylor started that season, the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Or first 3 games.
No, Two games.
First 2 games, Tyrod Taylor started.
And now we have an extra game. I think he goes over his passing yards. That was one of my favorites as well. I just think the addition of Kellen Moore is going to work wonders for this team this year. And his passing touchdowns, it is high at 30 and a half.
It's too low. That number is too low. Yeah. If all I'm saying is this is what I put in perspective. If Dak Prescott averaged 24, 26 passing touchdowns over the last 4 seasons, I think Justin Herbert could at least do. I'm not going to disrespect Dak and say almost double, but I think Justin Herbert should be around 37 and a half.
Especially with all the weapons he has. Yeah. And not just even the wide receivers. We could get to Austin Eckler in just a sec. He's a catching running back out of the backfield as well. So, yeah, I got to go, over his passing touchdowns as well at 30 and a half. He had 31 touchdowns his rookie season. I think
I'm trying to tell you.
He had 25 last season, but I do think he'll have 5 more, at least 6 more this season.
Remember, 8 games, Keenan Allen was out. Mike Williams missed 5 games. I had him in fantasy. I think he missed 5 games. So you have 13 games missed off 2 top 15-ish wide receivers. So if you have those in the lineup for 14 out of 17 games, both of them in the lineup, sky's the limit.
Yeah, sky's the limit there. So I do think right now you might think it's a little low for like fantasy perspective, but I have him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have him QB 7 in fantasy.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have him QB 3.
So I'll say my top. I'll read you my QBs for fantasy wise. I got Mahomes.
That's fantasy wise.
Yeah, fantasy wise. Not saying overall because he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. No, I agree. But fantasy wise, it's a little different. I have Patrick Mahomes 1. I got Josh Allen 2. I have Jalen Hurts 3, Lamar 4, Burrow 5, Justin Fields 6, and 7. I have Justin Herbert. Then I have I have Lawrence at 8. I got Deshaun at 9. Daniel Jones 10.
Wait, you got Daniel Jones ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, because he does more for fantasy. He runs the ball. He doesn't run. Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers had 0 20-point games in fantasy last season.
yeah, but come on, cuz you don't expect him to be better this season?
I
You,
receivers aren't
you
the best, I would argue. Like our receivers, Alan Lazard was a good addition, but he doesn't stay on the field. He gets hurt. Mekhi Hardman is cool, but he gets hurt. Randall Cobb is 55 years old. Like Corey Davis, I'm not high on either. That's why I think we need at the deadline to go and get Devontae Adams, because the only guy I really like is Garrett Wilson. Other than that, I think our receivers are not that good. I'm being frank with you.
yeah, all right.
And I think Daniel Jones is definitely better. You saw what he could do. He tucks and runs the ball a lot. In fantasy, that gives you more production. So I do think Daniel Jones will have a better season. And then I have Tua, I have Kirk Cousins, and then I have Aaron Rodgers. Like I'm like at 14th, 15th in fantasy.
Yeah. Well, in fantasy, this is just I don't have it written down, but fantasy, I have Jalen Hurts at number one because
Yeah.
just those rushing touchdowns, those 2 yards, 3 yards, he just gets in. It wouldn't shock me as double-digit rushing touchdowns. So I got Jalen Hurts at number one. Number two, I got Justin Fields. Justin Fields, still he was a monster last season.
Yeah.
He's gonna average at least 60 yards rushing a game. So that's 6 points alone. He throws a touchdown. That's already 12. He throws for a buck 5200. That's an 18 average. So I got Justin Fields at 2. And then at number 3, Dill, I might have to go with Patty Mahomes at 3 just because he could average 2-3 passing touchdowns a game. And then 4, I'm gonna go Joe Burrow. Then 5, Josh Allen.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and we'll get to fantasy towards when we get closer to drafting. But yeah, I got my quarterbacks, I got my running backs, I got my receivers, I got my tight end. So I'll give you all my rankings a little later on in the season. But yeah, I do think Justin Herbert will take that next step. We mentioned Austin Eckler, his rushing yards, 750.5. That is disrespectful. He rushed over for 900 yards in his last 2 seasons. It's not a prove it year, but he wants to go and get his money after this. So I think he's going to rush for another 900, maybe 1,000 yards. So I got to go over there.
At 750.5, I looked at the number and then I went to Google to see if he's hurt. Because 750.5 is kind of disrespectful. I think Austin Eckler is an easy 850 to 1,000-yard back. We know what he's able to do catching the ball off the backfield. I was looking for his over receiving.
And they don't have it. Yeah,
they don't have it. That was going to be one of my favorite. Put it like this: I like Austin Eckler over receiving touchdowns more than I like them to make the playoffs. I guaranteed Austin Eckler catches at least 4, maybe 5 catches. Catches 4 to 5 touchdowns. So I like Austin Eckler coming off the backfield, but I still like him over rushing 750.5. I just feel like this number is too short, and he's going to go out there and ball. Because guess what, people? After this season, he's an unrestricted free agent. So he could go out there and go get a bag. If he goes out there has 1,000-yard season, double-digit touchdowns, we've seen the running back market not get paid, but a team out there will at least pay him $10 to $12 million.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't not go over. 750 was just I had to go over on principle. Yeah. And you mentioned him receiving touchdowns. He had 5 last season, 8 in 2021, 8 in 2019. So he's great off the backfield, and I think that's another weapon for Justin Herbert. So yeah, I got to go over. I would stay away from the rushing touchdowns. Is sitting at 7.5.
I didn't touch it, but receiving touchdowns definitely.
I could see him getting 8 rushing touchdowns, but he's gotten 13 last season. He got 12 in 2021. But other than that, he hasn't even gotten 5. It was 2, 3, 3, and 1. And then he took that big leap in 2021.
Melvin Gordon ended up remember he got cut or he got hurt.
But he was still playing 16, 17 games and rushing for 600-700 yards. So it wasn't like he wasn't getting burned. God bless you. So yeah, I just couldn't get there with the touchdowns, but rushing yards, I love it. As for receiver, I got to go over Mike Williams, his receiving yards at 850 and a half. I just think that's low. I mean, he only played 13 games last season, and he still had 900 receiving yards last season. The year before that, where he played every game, he was an 1,100 receiving receiver. In 2019, he got 1,000 yards. In 2020, he missed 5 games, but he still got 800 yards. You're telling me another game or two with this extra game? With Kellen Moore, more aggressive, they're going to be passing a lot. I got to go over 850 and a half receiving yards for Mike Williams. I just think that's very low.
Yeah, Dale, I agree with you. I'm gonna lean both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams over it, just because I expect both of them to have 1,000-yard seasons. It's just, are they gonna play, 14, 15 games? They don't need to play all 17. I think they could exceed this number of 14, 15 games. It's just, is Keenan Allen gonna miss 8 weeks like he did last season and the year before? Is Mike Williams gonna miss time? I like Mike Williams more because I'm more confident he's able to play more games than Keenan Allen. But Keenan Allen is a stud. When he's on the field, he's a top 10 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I lean both of them over if they can stay healthy, Bill. I like Keenan Allen to have 1,000 plus. I like Mike Williams to have 1,000 plus. But I'll tell you what, thing, Bill. Give me Mike Williams over 5.5 receiving touchdowns, Bill. I like this play. He's just a 6'4", 6'5" monster in the red zone. That's Justin Herbert's favorite target in the red zone. And if healthy, it wouldn't shock me if he has anywhere from 8 to 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I stayed away from that just because he only got 4 last season. 2021, he got 9. But other than that, he hasn't gone over since 2018. 2 out of the 6 years in the league, he's only gone over this. So I stayed away. I think receiving yards was the safer bet, I guess, in my opinion. But Keenan Allen, you mentioned it. I guess that's the injury bug. He
Yeah.
misses a lot of time. He missed 6, 7 games last
Eight,
season. And
eight.
he got 8 games, and he got 752 yards. His number right now is at 900. When healthy, we've seen it in 2021, 1,100 yards. Even in 2020, where he played 14 games and he missed 2 games, he still got 995 yards. He still went over that. Other than that, 2017 to 2019, where he played all 16 games 3 years straight, 1,300, 1,100, and 1,200. I got to go over Keenan Allen just because I think he is going to be a little healthier. Like you said, he doesn't have to play every game, but if he plays 2 to 3 more games, he's going to get that 900 receiving yards. 5.5 touchdowns, though, for Keenan Allen. I stayed away. I could see him going over, but I like the receiving yards more than I like touchdowns, because when they get deeper and everything shrinks when they get to the red zone, it's harder to get touchdowns. So I think maybe they could go and give it to the running backs like an Austin Eckler. So I stayed away from that. But that's all I really had for the Chargers. Anything else for you, kid?
Nah, that's basically it. If anything, I told you I'm more confident in them to make the playoffs in the win total over 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Still, give me 9 exact wins at plus 600. I'm not saying they're gonna. Well, honestly, I am saying it, but I do like the over. I want to. I want. I like. I do expect them to win 10 games. But when I first counted the games, though, I do it multiple times. I counted 9 wins twice. So I do like the over deal, but I'll be honest, I'm sprinkling a little something. I'm putting at least $10 on it. At least $10. I win exactly 9 games at plus 600. 10 turns into 60 people. I think it's a great value there just because the uncertainties. Keenan
Yeah,
Allen,
I
Mike
yeah.
injuries. If this team looks like they did last season, they might be a 9-win, 10-win club again.
Do you think if they get exactly 9, do you still think they sneak into the playoffs? Because we do think the AFC North, the AFC East might have 3 teams. One of them is going to have 3 teams.
No, one of them is going to have 2 for sure. Guaranteed. Both of them might have 2.
Yeah, I think
That's
both. I think
yeah.
both.
So that's the thing. It all depends. And maybe it comes down they got to beat one of those AFC North teams head to head. If they have the same record. So still, I think it all comes down to how good the AFC North is. If they're all above 500, I think the whole AFC North might get it. It all depends who's above 500. So I think 10 wins is the number. I think the only way you get the 7th seed if you get to 10 wins. You
Yeah.
might be able to get to 9, but I think the magic number is 10 wins though, because everybody that's gonna win the division is gonna win 11 to 12 games, and then those wild card slots are gonna be 9 to 10 game winners.
Yeah, 100%.
Possibly even an 11 game winner.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's very interesting. I think gun to your head, you would take the over. I think the market is indicating that as well. It started at minus
Yeah,
115 where I got it. Now it's almost to minus 130. They are it is a tough schedule, but they are favored in 12 out of the 16 or 17 games this season, which is telling you they should win at least 10, 11 games this season.
but Stanley's gonna cost 2 games. You
I
know
hope
it. I know it.
I hope
No, no,
not.
no.
I
Realistically,
hope not.
he's gonna cost him a game.
He
Possibly two.
tries to be a little too smart, for his own good sometimes, and I think he runs into problems. But I really hope he lets Kellen Moore take the helm of the offense and let him cook, because when he puts his 2 cents in, they start running into clock management problems. They start running into all these problems, and that's how they lose games late in the season, like they did in the playoffs. Don't tell me they should have won that playoff game.
Yeah.
Don't get me started there, but yeah, they were the right side. I was on the Chargers, and I would have taken them again because they should have won that game. But anyway, I regress.
Cash plus 6.5 Jacks.
I regress. Let's end it with the Raiders. Super Bowl 75-1 to win the AFC, plus 55-1. They have the last odds in the AFC West, 17-1. Their win totals at 6.5, over plus 108, under minus 138. To make the playoffs, yes, plus 400, no, minus 550. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I'll start with you. I don't think we're taking them anything. We'll say about something they can do. Win total 6.5. Yes or no? You think they go over it or not?
So, past that. We're past that. To win exactly 4 games plus 650. I'm letting you know right now, people. I counted it a few times. I counted 3. I counted 5. I counted 4 a few times, people. With that being said, the Las Raiders are going to win 4 games, people. They might get to 5. They might get to 5. But realistically, I counted 4, people. And I like the 4. Give me the Raiders under 6.5, and then the Raiders to win exactly 4 games.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule right now, and
Count them.
To be honest, the first time I counted them, I know I'm a little extreme, but I only counted 4 wins, and I gave them I gave them 1 or 2. To be honest, they're only favored out of 18 games or 17. There's 18 weeks. Out of 17 games, they're only favored in 2 games.
Cause I gave them a win. I'm gonna tell you the win.
They're gonna beat Indianapolis.
Cause they're gonna start the season 1-3. They might. I give them a shot.
Who do they beat?
I give them a shot against the Steelers. Cause I give them a shot against the Steelers at home. I'm not saying they're winning it. I say I'll give them a shot.
That's Sunday Night Football too.
Cause best case scenario, they're starting 1-3. That's what I'm saying. Best case scenario, they're starting 1-3. Right? Well, unless a quarterback is down. Unless a quarterback is down.
Yeah.
Early. Right? I give them a shot to beat Green Bay.
Yeah, that's the other one.
I give them the win in Chicago. That's 3. And then I gave them a win over the Giants at home. Still. And then, to be honest, I counted 5 because I gave them the Colts. But that's when I was like, you know what? Giants could beat them. The Bears could beat them. And the Packers could beat them.
And the Steelers could beat them.
So I counted 5, and then I was like, one of those teams they're going to end up losing that I picked they win. So, they could win 4 or 5. So, exactly what I said. To win exactly 4 games plus 650, to win exactly 5 games is plus 500.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I don't like their weapon. Obviously, outside of Devontae Adams, I heard Hunter Renfro's not having a good training camp. I heard Jacoby Myers from your New England Patriots. He's okay. Josh Jacobs isn't in the. He's not there right now. So I just don't see. I think they start 1-4 because like I think they can. I think they have a shot at home against Green Bay, but I don't know. I don't think that's a gimme game. I don't think that. I think the Bears are actually a harder game than a lot of people think, especially on the road at Soldier Field. I think they could win 1 or 2 games up until their bye in Week 13, and then the Colts. I think they could beat the Colts, but there's no shoey. I don't think the Steelers are a toss-up like you think. 2 or 3 wins, if that. I think, like
Yeah,
Danielle said,
I give them a shot at home against the Steelers. That's what it is.
Steelers are just they're out coached. They have more weapons. Their defense is going to lock them up. I mean, we talk about this all the time where Mike Tomlin, we count him out, but how many winning seasons has he had? He keeps proving everyone wrong.
Yeah, but you don't give the Raiders defense a shot to
No.
look pretty good against Kenny Pickett.
No, because
I do.
we saw how good Kenny Pickett looked down the stretch, and I think he is going to take that next step in his a full off season. And besides that, outside of Max Crosby, I don't really think they have that good of a defense at all, to be honest. So I'm not high on them. I think Danielle made a great point. I think their secondary is atrocious. I think they're going to get burned on a lot of. Look at the teams they play. Buffalo's going to torch them. Keenan Allen, we just talked about the Chargers on the road. They're going to torch them. Even the weapons Detroit has, Detroit is going to burn them. The Jets are going to burn them on the road in Miami. Arrowhead, you play twice this season. Even Minnesota, Kirk Cut. These teams are going to torch them in the secondary. The front of the line, I like Max Crosby, but outside of that, I don't like it. Jimmy G, can he stay? If he gets hurt, this team's not winning. This team's done.
That's why I say 4 games, because I expect Jimmy G to play 12 out of 17.
That's so sad to say.
No, but that's expectation.
That's realistic. Yeah, that's realistic. I agree. It's just sad to say though. I think Danielle made a good point. I think we could take an alternate total and go like under 5.5 or even more plus money. To be honest, I think that's a good bet.
Like realistically, like if Patty Mahomes goes down for 2 weeks for an ankle injury, will you be
They're
shocked
still
by that?
winning.
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
Would I be shocked at what?
If Patty Mahomes misses 2 weeks for his ankle injury.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't worry. They still were going to beat him.
No, but I'm saying like if I think Mahomes can miss 2 weeks with an ankle injury, I'd be damned if Jimmy G ain't going to miss 5 weeks doing something.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Patty Mahomes misses 2 weeks of an ankle. I'll be shocked if Jimmy G plays 17. You know?
And another thing I forgot to mention, and I read up on it, I'm just rereading my notes. The Raiders were tied with the Broncos for the second highest average penalties per game. They led the league in unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. They're just an undisciplined team, Elvis. That's the problem. They get behind in games. They take their anger out on the wrong way, and then they're undisciplined. They get more penalties, and it just puts them deeper and deeper into a hole. And when you're playing teams like Chiefs twice a year, Miami, the Jets this season, you have a tough schedule. You don't have any gimme games except maybe the Colts. And I don't disrespect the Colts. They're just in a rebuilding season. There's no gimme games on this schedule. Even the Bears, Steelers that we could give them a win, maybe they're not. Those are no gimme games. So if they continue to be undisciplined under Josh McDaniels, I thought you raised a great point to Danielle. I think that if they have a bad year, he has to be on the hot seat, if not fired. Now, we've seen it. Some people are just meant to be coordinators. Example 1, Nathaniel Hackett. As a head coach, he's just terrible. It is what it is. He owned up to it. But as an offensive coordinator, he is very good. And I think that's maybe a Josh McDaniels. He got his opportunity. He just didn't have Tom Brady. and that's what it is. So I don't know. I think they're on the hot seat. I I don't think they're going to be good this season. Under 6.5 wins. I love it. I got it at -130. It's at -135 right now. So money is coming in on it. As for player props, no Jimmy G props as of right now. He literally just passed his physical last week, so probably easing into things. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. No running back props because Josh Jacobs and the Raiders still haven't come to agreement on a contract. He's not even in the state of Las Vegas or Nevada right now. So no running back props. Literally the only thing you can bet on is Devontae Adams, his receiving yards, his touchdowns. So Elvis, I will let you lead it off. You think he's the best receiver in the league. What do you like?
With the best wide receiver in football, Devontae Adams. Give me his over touchdowns, 8.5. It's too low. He should be double digits. And over 1,225 and a half receiving yards still. With that being said, hold on, people. I don't expect Devontae Adams to end this season with an Oakland Raiders jersey on. I do expect him to be moved to a contender, to a superstar quarterback where the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season, he's going to put up tremendous numbers. I still think he'll go over both of these numbers if Jimmy G's the quarterback all season, because Devontae Adams he's just gonna bust coverages. It's just what he does.
Yeah.
He's gonna be wide open. He's gonna create open. So give me everything over Devontae Adams. And that's really the only thing you bet on. I like whatever Josh Jacobs' total number is gonna be. I like him total number because he was able to lead the league in rushing last season, and the Raiders wasn't a good team last season. So I expect him to not lead the league in rushing, but to have another 1,000-yard rushing season. So whenever his props come out and it's under 1,000 or is around like 1050, 11, I expect them to go over that as well.
Question from the chat from Joe. Where do you see him going if they do wind up trading him? Because I agree. I think especially we both agree that they're not going to have a good season. You have to get something instead of letting a guy like him walk. You have to get something in return. So where do you see him going?
Definitely to a contender deal. It all depends. Off the top of my head, what seems likely is the New York Jets, just because the Aaron Rodgers connection. Nathaniel Hackett was his OC back or quarterback coach back then. So possibly the New York Jets. But hey, Dill, would it shock me if he goes to, a contender? Maybe the Ravens, the Rams, the Bills. A team like that that has championship aspirations that will need a receiver. Maybe, hey, for example, maybe I don't know, somebody gets injured and then a superstar receiver goes down, they're gonna need another one. And then they trade for D-Hop. D-Hop, they trade for Devontae. So to me, all the matters on who's the contending, who's not, and what injuries happens. But I off the top of my head, I gotta suggest the league leaders is the New York Jets.
Yeah, don't want to toot my own horn, but yeah, that does seem likely. Now, real quick before you're going over in everything, his receiving yards and touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to agree. I mean, 1,200. I would say before I get into it, is this the worst quarterback he's had in his career? You go from Aaron Rodgers, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Even I thought Derek Carr is better than Jimmy G. So.
Not to disrespect Jimmy G, but yeah, no, not realistically, because at the end of the day, Jimmy G is still a top 20 quarterback. I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah, when healthy, yes.
So it's not like it's the worst quarterback he ever played with, but let's not disrespect Jimmy G and call him bad now.
No, Jimmy G is not bad at all. He's gone to a Super Bowl and he was a few plays from winning it. Let's not forget that.
He's been to 4.
Yeah, let's not forget that. Yeah, I gotta go over. He had 1,500 yards back-to-back seasons, and yes, one was with Aaron Rodgers, and then it was with Derek Carr. I understand all that.
And Stidham threw him 107. Yep. He caught like 106. I had him that game. He had me 37 receiving fantasy points. Trust me, Stidham did his thing against the 49ers. He beat the 49ers. Stidham beat the 49ers.
Now, is drafting from a fantasy perspective, is drafting Devontae Adams, since we think he's going to be on the move, we don't know the question marks with the quarterback, is Jimmy G going to stay healthy? Is he a problem drafting in fantasy this season?
No. Still, I drafted him 9th overall in one of my drafts last year. I won 2 Super Bowls. So,
No, this season, though.
Yeah, none. Still, if I didn't have a concern with Derek Carr, I think Jimmy G's a little better than Derek Carr, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I just think, the uncertainty. I don't know. I don't think managers, I guess you could say for fantasy, I don't think they should be concerned, but I don't hate the question because I understand, he might be on the move. It might take him some time to get his feet wet, but it's fucking Devontae Adams at the end of the day. He's the best receiver. I was busting Elvis's balls just because he always says that, but he is the best receiver in football. And if they like Danielle said, we love a reunion. If he comes to New York with Aaron Rodgers, one of his best friends, the connection is going to be scary. So yeah, I got to go over 1,200 receiving yards. I do like the receiving yards more than I like the touchdowns, but 8.5 seems a little low. He hasn't gone under 8 touchdowns since 2019, where he got hurt and missed 5 games, and he still got 5 touchdowns. But other than that, he hasn't gone under 8.5 touchdowns since 2015. So
Yo, I'm telling you, it's disrespectful.
all the years that he hasn't gone, he's missed significant time. But when he's playing 15 to 17 games, he's a 1,300 to 1,500 receiving, and he's going to get double-digit touchdowns. He's unguardable. You
Still,
can't guard him one-on-one. You need help over the top
he
every
was able
time.
to get 1,500 yards with Derek Carr and Stidham.
Don't disrespect Stidham, please. But how about another one, since we can't really bet on quarterback or running back? Max Crosby, sack leader at plus 1,600. Any value there?
Realistically, it has to be Dill, but come on now. Do you expect him to have a better season than TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Miles Garrett, Micah Parsons? Come on now. Like realistic. Even Dill, I told you one of my favorite ones, just to put a sprinkle on his Thibodeau from the Giants. I think it's some value there just because I think he's gonna have a breakout season. It's always gonna be not a random, but it's gonna be somebody you don't expect. Like I wouldn't put money on TJ. I wouldn't put money on Miles. Mika Parsons sounds good. I think it's worth a sprinkle on Crosby, but realistically, I think it's a few players I put ahead of him. Even his old teammate Chandler Jones, still. I
Yeah.
think Chandler Jones still have another great season. Hey, watch out if Von Miller is able to come back even by week 3. I think Von Miller could get 14, 15, 16 sacks in a matter of 14, 15 games. I think he got to get a sack a game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Max Crosby is one of the top 10, I guess, defensive linemen in the league. He could definitely get after you. I was trying to find his numbers while you were talking. So last season, he had 12 and a half sacks. It was his best year by far. I do think it's a big step to get the sack leader. 16 to 1 does sound enticing, but you just mentioned all the other names that I think have a much better chance. To be honest, even your guy, Matthew Judon, I think he's going to get more sacks than Max Crosby. So 12, 16 to 1, I probably would need at least 25, 30 to 1. Then I think you're just betting the number at that point. There's good value there, but 16 to 1, yeah, I'd pass on Max Crosby. But and oh, by the way, I'll tell you my AFC prediction. It is going to be the Cleveland Browns taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know who I have advancing?
The Browns.
This is not the same Browns team we grew up on. Deshaun Watson will take them to the promised land. Mark my words. Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl. I love Joey in the chat getting the chant ready. JETS. I love it, but I just think this is gonna. I'm so high on the Browns this season. I just think they're gonna take this next step. Deshaun Watson, full year. That defensive line, they have a top 5 offensive line. They have weapons across the board on offense and defense. They're getting healthier, and Myles Garrett is a force to be reckoned with. I think they're going to get after the quarterback a lot this season. Don't look now, but watch out for the Brownies this season. That's my pick to come out of the AFC East or the AFC.
Wow. I'm not saying I don't like the pick though, because I do like it. I'm just shocked on how high you are on the Browns after talking real sweet last season. So, people, you heard it first. Dylan got the Browns and the Chiefs, with the Browns advancing to the Super Bowl. What's the ticket, Dill? What's the price? The Browns to win the AFC.
Yeah, so that's a good call. I don't have it in front of me. Let me go to my tickets because I did take the ticket.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, of course. Come on, my boy. I had to. So to win the Super Bowl, just to win it, they are 30-1. To win the AFC, they are 18-1. I got 19-1 a few weeks ago when we did the division. So it went down. I don't want to say I did it, but 18-1 to win the AFC. I think that's good value.
All right,
I
yeah, I
mean,
like that. I like that.
who's your, because I know you're higher on the Ravens this season. Do you have the Chiefs going with the Ravens?
My AFC Championship game is the Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens will beat the Kansas City Chiefs and advance to the Super Bowl.
Ravens right now to win the AFC plus 900. They have the fourth best odds behind Cincinnati, Buffalo, and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs to repeat. But I mean, I like it. We both got AFC North guys. We're high on the AFC North. I think three teams could come out of there. I really do.
Do you have your NFC NFC Championship game already or no?
I mean, I know what I have, but I'll leave it as a tease. We'll get there when the futures come out when we start. But we'll start with the NFC East. We'll start with the NFC East on Monday. AFC was a lot of fun. I think we had to start with them just because of how loaded they are. They've gotten a lot better over the years, all the quarterbacks. NFC, I think it's kind of up for grabs. You know, we'll get into it, but I think it's wide open. I think it's theirs for the taking for a lot of teams. So we'll touch on that. We will start with the NFC East on Monday, but that's going to do it. Any last words, any birthday parties this week? What you got?
Yo, Dale, you got to stop doing that. No birthday parties this week. None of that. It is your boy's birthday month, so we chilling all month.
Leo season.
No, I'm a Virgo. Stop it.
Oh, okay. I like Virgos. Leos are a little, but I do like Virgos. By the way, did you watch Quarterback?
No.
It's been a few weeks now. You got to get to it before the season starts. And two, the new documentary on Johnny Manziel. Oh my God, it's fantastic. He dealt with, after he got cut, I think in 2016, 2017 by the Browns, he went on a $5 million bender to try to commit suicide. Like he goes deep into his life, bro. Like it's a really good documentary. And in 3 weeks, they're coming out with an Urban Meyer and Florida Gator one. Yeah, you gotta watch that with Aaron Hernandez.
Yo, that team is legendary, Jim.
Legendary. Yo, Tim Tebow, baby.
That team is crazy, bro.
By the way, did you notice no more Pac-12? I think by tomorrow there's going to be one team left. Everyone's leaving to the Big 10 and the Big 12. I mean, it's not the Conference of Champions anymore. You know, everyone left. I mean, I can't blame them.
It's good for the sport, though. It's good for the sport.
Yeah, I agree. So instead of the Big 10, where it was, Joey's mentioning Riley Cooper. That's another legendary guy from that Florida Gator team. But yeah, Elvis, that's going to do it for this Saturday edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, thank you to Danielle for stopping by. I am D-Rock. We'll see you guys in a few days. So please follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at The Dream Wager. You guys can find all of our podcasts wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live every Monday and Saturday on YouTube, youtube.com/The Dream Wager. Subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Have a great weekend. Good luck on your wagers, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.